Easily one of the most challenging parts of entrepreneurship is taking time to work on your business and not just in your business. To take time to plan the promotions, the products, and the content that you're gonna make. This is something that if you don't do it intentionally, then it won't happen. This has at least been my experience. Before I had an annual planning retreat, which I'm gonna talk about in this video, I was all over the place with my planning. So sometimes my planning was just kind of panic planning. Like I've got to plan something because I'm out of ideas. Or I would sit down and make a piece of content and go, I don't know what I'm gonna make my video about, but I've got a video due, so I've got to make one. Or it's been a while since I've done a promotion, I better make one really quick. Maybe you've been in those situations. In this video, I'm gonna talk about my planning retreat that I do each year. I've done this for 3 years in a row, and I actually just did the planning retreat for 2023. I actually just did it last week. And so many amazing things came out of that experience. If you've ever been stuck trying to plan out the content that you're gonna make or the products that you're gonna make, maybe that new online course or the membership site that you wanna build, or if you've ever just wondered when and how am I supposed to promote to my list, what does that look like? What is my social media strategy? What is my affiliate marketing strategy? If you've ever been stuck, this video will help you get unstuck, because I'm gonna show you how in one retreat you can clear all of this up and have a plan to move forward with your online business into the next year. So for that, stick around. My name's Lane. I love to help online entrepreneurs start and grow successful and profitable online businesses. If you're into that kind of thing, I want to give you something for free as a way to say thank you for stopping by, but also to help you along your path. If you go to lanesebring.com/super simple, you can pick up my free super simple guide to your first $500 online. These are the exact steps that I use to build my six-figure online business, and it will give you exactly what you need to take an idea and turn it into income. So check out that at lanesebring.com/super simple. It's totally free, my gift to you. All right, as we get into this, I want to talk first about what exactly I do on this retreat. So the first thing that I do is I actually book a hotel. And the reason why I do this is because I want to get away. I don't want to do this at my house where I work every day. I've got 4 kids. I've got a wife. I am busy when I'm at home. There is no way to do this in my normal context. And so I get a hotel. And the last 2 years, I got 1 night. And this year, I decided to go ahead and get 2 nights because the business is growing and I had more money to work with for this retreat. So I decided let's just do 2 nights and not rush this process. So I get away, and this is very, very important to the process, not just because I need to get away from the distractions, but I need to actually get away from the context that I'm typically in when I'm working in my business. There is an amazing book called The E-Myth Revisited, where the author makes a distinction between working on your business and working in your business. Right here in this room is where I work in my business, where I make content for you, where I make my online courses, where I do my Zoom calls. This is where my online business happens. To get out of that and go somewhere else is really helpful to me because it gets me out of my normal context, which allows me to think a little bit more creatively, to be a little bit more free, to have a new set of surroundings to inspire me to something different. So I get away. That's the very first thing. The next thing I do is I gather my materials. Now for me, this is going to include a couple of giant Post-it note easel type things, some markers to mark it all up with, my notebook, my laptop. These are the things that I'm going to need because when I'm on my retreat, I am going to want to see the plans that I'm making. This has been what I've done from the very start, and it's really fun at the end of the retreat to have a wall just full of my plans and goals and ideas and the outline of my next course and all kinds of things that I want to do, all mapped out on the walls in front of me. It makes it really, really cool, and it makes it an experience where I'm not digging through a notebook. I'm not digging through spreadsheets on a computer. I just can see it. It's on the walls. It's just how I function. Now, you may be different than that, and that's totally fine. What you want to do is figure out, how do you plan best? What's the best way for you to get all this in front of you in a simplified way where you can see the whole picture for the whole year so that you can move pieces around? So for me, I actually work both with index cards and with Post-it notes, the giant kind, and that's how I do it, and it's a lot of fun. Now, there are 3 types of things that I'm planning on these retreats. The first thing that I'm planning are my products for the next year. Now, I'm running 2 online businesses, Preaching Donkey, which serves pastors who preach, and then this brand, my personal brand, which is serving and helping those who want to start and grow online businesses. And this planning retreat is for both of those businesses. So I'm looking at things like, what does my product suite look like? What's next in line? What makes the most sense to serve my customers at the next level? And I'm looking for this in terms of both brands. I'm thinking about Preaching Donkey, what it needs. I'm thinking about Lane Sebring, what it needs. And I'm putting pen to paper on what all these things need. Now, the second thing that I do is I look at promotions. And this is related, but it's different because the product development is kind of focused on what new product do I want to build, whereas promotions is going to be, what am I going to promote? So this might be an existing product that I already have, and I decide that in Q1, I'm going to promote this product. I'm going to do a promotion for it. Or maybe in Q2, I'm going to do a promotion for another product. And then maybe in Q3, I'm going to bundle 2 things together and promote them that way. But each quarter for each one of my businesses, I have a particular promotion that I want to do. This is one of the ways that I ensure that my business continues to grow and scale, because I'm making sure that I never let a product just sit there and die. It's always in my evergreen funnel, and it's brought into the promotion schedule that I have, where at least once a quarter, I'm promoting something on both brands. And then next comes content. And this is really the sweet spot of this one-person offsite retreat. Because what I do is I look at my content for the entire year and I plan out every single video I'm going to make for both brands. Now, how do I do this? I got this method from Graham Cochran, so I want to give him credit. But essentially what I do is my content is broken down into what I call content buckets. This is the categories that fit within the kind of broad category of my business. So if we look at Preaching Donkey as an example, Preaching Donkey is kind of the big theme, right? I'm helping preachers communicate better. Preaching Donkey is just the name, and I chose a weird one, but it's memorable. You're probably not going to forget it, right? But it's the name. And then under that, I have different categories. So I have sermon preparation, sermon delivery, lessons for pastors. This is like news and events in the space. And then church leadership. Those 4 categories make up all of my content buckets for the Preaching Donkey brand. So what I do is I list out about 10 to 12 videos in each bucket. I have a spreadsheet that I do this. I update it once a year where I will put 10 to 12 videos in each bucket. So that gives me 40 to 48 ideas for videos for the following year. I put a tentative title and then I put bullets for what the video could be about. So kind of the things that I want to say in the video. And that whole process takes a few hours per brand. So it takes a few hours for me to knock this out for Preaching Donkey, and then I just repeat the process over at Lane Sebring. It takes a few hours there. When I say a few, I mean 6 to 8 hours of work. This again is why it's great to get away, and it's great to get some focused time doing this. Now, even though those are the 3 major things that I'm doing, it's my retreat and I can tackle any project I want to tackle as long as those 3 things happen. So when I start my retreat, the very first thing I do is I put a big Post-it note on the wall and I list out everything that I want to get done on the retreat itself. And that's an important part of this process, because what this does is it ensures that I stay on task throughout the retreat, and I make sure that at the end of it, as long as I did all the things on that list, I'm good. I also have another Post-it note where I write my goals for the coming year. And these are going to come out during the retreat as I'm working on things. I go, oh, that's a goal. I try to keep my goals to 5 or less major goals for the next year. And that's for both businesses. So really 2 for one business and maybe 3 for another business. But I keep it very, very focused because I have learned in the old days, I used to try to go after everything and then I just hit nothing. And what I try to do now is focus on what do I really want this year to be about. So for 2023, one of the major themes for 2023 is online courses. I have a new course I want to launch over at Preaching Donkey. I have my first course that I want to launch here. I want to really grow course sales. I want to really have some successful launches. I want to really help my students. And so some of my other things that are more long-term are just going to have to get back burnered while I'm focused on the thing that's most important right now to me, which is the online courses that I want to build and launch. So this retreat gives me clarity in all of those ways, which leads to the next thing I want to talk about, which is why I do this. The reason why I do this, and I already talked about it, but I think it's worth repeating. I do this because if I don't, I get so overwhelmed and frustrated with all that I could do in my online business. There's been times where I'll sit here at my computer and just be like, there's so much. There's so much to work on. There's so many projects that I could do. There's so many things that need my attention. And yet, none of it feels like the most important thing to do right now. By getting away, it gives me an opportunity to really hone in on this is what's most important. This is the thing that I need to focus on. This is the thing that I am going to focus on. And as a result, I have a more profitable business, a more successful business, and I am more sane and happy because I'm working on the things that matter and not so much on the things that don't, or at least don't right now. So how can you do this? Number one, you need to find a place to go. I think a hotel or an Airbnb is a great choice. If you can only do one night, do one night. It's totally fine. My suggestion is if you're going for one night, get there early to the hotel and see if your room's ready. I'll get there at 9:30 in the morning and I'll just tell them, hey, I'm here to check in. I know I'm way early, so I'm not expecting you to have a room. But if you do have a room, and you don't mind me going in it, then let me know. And I have had them just say, oh yeah, we have a room available for you right now. You can go up to your room. And so now I'm in my room at 10 a.m. when normally I wouldn't be in my room until 3. But worst case scenario, they just look at you and say, we don't have a room yet. And you say, cool. And you camp out in the lobby, you get your laptop out and you start the process right then and there in the hotel lobby. Nothing wrong with that. It's a totally fine way to do it. So get there early, get there as early as you can. Once you're in your room, make sure that you get set up and you decide what you're going to accomplish that first night. What are you going to get done right then and there? And what I like to do is figure out what am I going to get done all the way up until dinner, and then I'll have kind of a late dinner. And that way, once I'm done with dinner, if I come home and I come back to the hotel and I want to do more, I can, or I can just go to bed and hit the ground running the next day. The next day, I get up, I go to breakfast, I go to the gym, I get a good workout, and then I get dressed and ready for the day. And I kind of just tell myself, I'm going to get my workout done, I'm going to get my breakfast done, I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of coffee, and then I'm going to kind of shift gears into, I got to make the most of this day. And I'm working that whole day. Now, if you did only get one night, then you're going to have to ask for late checkout. See if they'll let you check out an hour late, like at 12 instead of 11. Or if you have 2 nights, then you can work all day, which is great. But if you only have one night, you can hit the ground running at 7 or 8 in the morning and you can work until noon and get quite a bit of stuff done. And then you can go back to the hotel lobby, have a cup of coffee, and sit there and work till 4 or 5 in the afternoon and then go home. That's one of the ways that I've done it before. But the point is, make the most of the time that you have. If you can do 2 nights, do it. If you can only do 1 night, that's fine too. But really focus on the products you're gonna make, the promotions you're gonna do, and the content you're gonna make. You don't have to plan in depth and in detail, but you do wanna plan specifically enough that you can come home and have a really good running start to the following year. Now, I will point out a couple things. One, I used to do this in December. The first 2 times I did it in December. And this year, I actually moved it up to October, and I like October a lot better. The reason for that is because some of my planning is about finishing out the year, the things that I want to do coming up with Black Friday coming up in the end of the year. Those kinds of things are really helpful to have in the bag, planned with the freshness of immediacy. doing it in October. When I did it in December, all that stuff is behind me, and I would plan the next year, be really excited about it, then come back and we've got Christmas, we're traveling, we're doing the family stuff, and I had this delay between the retreat and actually being able to take action on some of the things that I planned. So I really love to do this now in October, like late October, maybe early November, to get planned for the following year. But either way, even if you do it in December, it's totally cool. Just do it sometime before the following year starts. Plan out the products, plan out the promotions, and plan out the content. Be sure to go to lanesebring.com/supersimple and use that guide. You can actually use the guide on the retreat itself to plan out how you're going to build your business if you're just getting started, how you're going to build out your course if you're just getting started with that. That'd be a great thing to take with you. Let me know in the comments what questions you have about a retreat like this, and check out this playlist right here. We'll all map out exactly how to build the kind of business that you're going to plan out on your next planning retreat. So click right there and I'll see you in that playlist.